Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy Peter Liu, Real Wheel Deal. Today is a really big day because behind me I have the brand new VOLK Racing CE28N-PLUS, the revitalization of a VOLK legend, the OG CE28N. So today we're going to take a deep dive into that brand new wheel. I'll let you guys know everything to know about that wheel and what has improved on it versus the old one. All right, let's go. All right, so we're gonna go all the way back to original C28N. So right here with me, I have an OG C28N. This was 18 by 8.5 plus 30. And one of CE's most popular colors, the iconic bronze alumite anodized finish. So you guys gotta know, this wheel originally came out in 1999. So that's a pretty important year that year. Also, the Phantom Menace came out. That's the first time I saw a double-sided lightsaber. It changed my life. So the term CE stands for competition expert, and a 2.8 is because when the CE came out in the original 14 by 5 size, it was 2.8 kilograms. So it's all right there in the name. This wheel is probably the second most popular choice wheel behind the T37. So following those footsteps, that's why they tried to do something even further. The T37 was built for rigidity, high strength, being used on circuit. Well, the C28 came in as a premium for getting super lightweight. So the number one focus of that is lightweight, and that's why that 2.8 is there. For them to achieve that was remarkable at 14 by 5. And behind me here, these guys is a CE28N-PLUS. Those are released as the 25th anniversary of the original launch of the C28. So people are like, why has the C28 become so popular? Well, it's because for me, I think it's an all-around wheel. What I'm talking about is number one, it prioritizes lightweight. So original C28, forged in Japan, forged on 6061 aluminum, and it's all mold form forged, you know, it's very light with the bronze alumite. Also that finish is lighter than paint. So this wheel really prioritizes lightweight. The second thing, it has a really good brake clearance. So we look at the wheel, you can see that these spokes curve out very far. Something you're really looking for all the time, that big brake clearance. And the third thing that's really hard to do after you get a lightweight wheel and have good brake clearance is having a good lip. So because of the shape of the C28, you can see there's at least a minimal lip here. So this guy's an 8.5, very narrow wheel. If I turn to its side, you see it has that nice lip look, but they get to keep the wheel as a one-piece mold form forged wheel, being very light. So they emulate a little bit of a two-piece look with the lip, but you get to have it the structure of a single-piece wheel. So that's why the C28 has been very popular. Because of the TE, it looks a little bit more rugged. The TE's like got a 6-spoke right in your face, very thick, really shows it's like very high durability. The C28, a little bit thinner, daintier spokes. So some people believe that this wheel looks a little bit more of a premium finish. And if you kind of have nice brakes and stuff, you can see a little bit more between the wheel, then you kind of check it out. If you want to learn more about the C28, you guys can go check out everything about my C28N video, which kind of goes through the whole timeline, history, and variants of all the C28 OGs. So almost a quarter of a century later, July 23rd, 2023, the new C28N-PLUS is debuted. So I have it right here in VOLK's newer Blast Bronze. And you know what's a nice contrast, this newer bronze on a newer wheel versus the OG bronze on the C28 I had up before. With the naming convention, of course, stuck to the C28N, but what they added was a plus there. And why they had to go and make this new wheel is because they believed that with the new modern cars, way more higher horsepower, cars were weighing a ton more, and also tire grip was increasing a lot. So all the modernization of current tires, you can really get way more G's, really push the car a lot harder, and now the cars because of their weight. So they went back to the drawing board. They looked at every aspect of the original C28N, and they decided to remap, redesign everything to increase its strength, still maintain it being lightweight, just to bring this into the modern world. So that's why they have the plus. So essentially it's because all our cars now plus sized. So I'm talking like the new cars that we have versus the old cars, they're thick, man, like stupid thick, like 3 C's thick. So that's why they have the plus for the new wheels. So even though the design hasn't fully changed up, they've still stuck to the core principles that made the C28 great. So the wheel is still made in Japan. It's fully mold form forged, which means that when it's forged, it goes through a 3-step staging method where they have the dies are switched out, and each time you do a forge, it gets closer and closer to the shape. So that means all the metal and crystalline structure in the wheel is aligned properly, which makes it a fully forged wheel, everything from the spoke to barrel to face. And of course, the material remains the same. It's still an aluminum wheel. So in the design analysis, they kept the base of the C20N. So you see still, it's a 10-spoke wheel, still has the same kind of cuts and relief cuts here for saving weight. They went through a new comprehensive strength analysis, fit analysis across all the areas, all the spokes, all the faces to try and see where they're gonna improve the wheel. So after remodeling all the details and all the cores of the strength, resulting in the C28N-PLUS having one of the best strength to weight ratios on the market. So color wise, the C28N-PLUS is now available because it's a modern wheel across all the colors that Raze offers. So now if you check the VOLK catalog, the 2 standard colors the C28N-PLUS comes in, first one, it's diamond dark gunmetal. So I'll put a picture of that up there. We've been seeing that as a standard color for a lot of different wheels. And a second color, newly introduced, shining bronze. So I'll put the shining bronze up here, let you guys take a look at it. So right here, this is the brand new VOLK shining bronze, which I believe debuted with the new CE28N-PLUS. And this is a really gonna be going forward. They've been applying it to a lot of different wheels. This is gonna be one of VOLK's newer trademarks. Really emulates the features of the CE28N-PLUS. This is gonna be one of the standard colors. So if you're looking at the catalog, I would say this is a color that looks sensational. You know, it kind of has that heritage VOLK bronze, but also it's glossy, so it's gonna be way easier to clean. And I believe all the glossiness shows all the facets of the CE28N-PLUS, which I told you, it's kind of like an all-around wheel. Good lip, good spoke, good brake clearance, good concavity. So those combined, when you see it in this color, really shows off those features. It's available in the OG bronze almite, exact same color as what I showed you on the OG CE28N. Since it's a modern wheel, of course they have VOLK's OP2, which is option 2 color setting. So they have their whole variety here. I'll post a picture here. These are the current VOLK option 2 colors that are available. And I have one here behind me. So this one here is in racing green. You can see super nice sheen, has a very high gloss, just like the shining bronze. Really shows off the shape and the features of the CE28N-PLUS. And yeah, having a lot of color pop, it looks really good. And this is very metallic. So what I like about this is as you're kind of changing, it has a little bit of a color shift. It goes really dark in the dark areas, but when you hit there with really bright light, it shows really green. Similar to like a mag blue, but actually green, so that's kind of nice. As of late, I have seen a lot more kind of like the C28 SLs, the OG C28s. They've been doing a lot of different colors and options, but now with N-Plus, you have a variety of colors that you can order from, all of those OP2 colors. Size-wise, the N-Plus was available in 18-inch when it first debuted in 2023. Then 2024, shortly, they followed with a 17, which of course you have to have. But 17 just suits a lot of those older style cars that the C28N OG was very popular on. And I heard that this year, 2025, that a 19-inch is gonna debut eventually. So I remember seeing a lot of those on kind of like 350Zs, 370Zs back in the day with the old C28. So on a new one, I think it'll be really nice because I'll definitely have that really big lip that we've seen in the past. For bolt patterns, you have everything from a 4x98. You can ask me what that is. I think it's like Fiat 500, Alfa Romeo 4C, all the way up to probably like a 5x120, so FK8, FL5. And with all of VOLK's new wheels, the last thing we want to talk about is face design. There's 4 face designs available for C28N-PLUS, which go all the way from very deep concavity to their very flat one, but even the flat one, because of a redesign of the wheel, also has pretty good concavity, pretty good lip availability, pretty good curvature of the spokes. So I want to say that the faces, you can't choose the face you want, align with the spec that you want. The face is a result of the spec of the wheel. So whatever offset and width that they're able to get in that's the face you'll result with. So you can rest assured, the designers for this wheel, they try to get the optimized shape of the wheel, the best concavity with the best brake clearance possible that matches the aesthetics that they want to achieve with the C28N-PLUS. So now we're gonna do close-ups and a deep dive of the wheel. So just some basics of the wheel first. You'll see that it retains its original 10-spoke design. What they've done is they analyzed every area of the spoke. They went across to see where the exact strength was and noticed that on the old wheel, one of the gaps was exactly where the spoke connected to the barrel. So right here, you'll see that because compared to the OG, this was widened quite a bit at this contact, which increases its durability and its strength. And this is where you noticed that there was the most load on the wheel during very high G corners when the car was quite heavy and putting down a lot of power. Of course, the middle here, exact same as before. They have it shaped out here and they have these relief cuts down here. So this is a trademark of a C28. These relief kind of cuts, they're made for weight savings and also access for the lug nuts here very quickly. But what they've done is they made these even lighter. So they've cut more of this to emphasize this as a trademark of the C28N. You remember the OG, if I show you, it used to have these relief holes cut in here, which was something to save weight. But now after analysis, they said the hub needed to be stronger to stop the flexing of the spokes in this area, where they took those relief holes out to increase the strength of the wheel and also to allow the wheel to have a bit more concavity without impacting the strength of the hub. Of course, we also have our nice lip here. So this lip is something the C28 has always been available with, but the very rim edge has been redesigned. So C28 used to have the lip and it would kind of roll out here, just rounded all the way to here, and then it would have this little lip here. What they've done for the N-Plus to make the flange a lot stronger for better contact and the strength of the flange for the new version of cars, instead of having it rounded, they actually have it flat here, a facet flat here, and a little facet inside of here where you can see all the wards are cut into. And that made the flange a lot stronger, a lot more durable. So if you're to hit any bumps and stuff, it would be less likely that this would have an impact, which would kind of make the rim dent on the edge on the lip. Around the center hub area here, you'll see that this isn't cut just a pocket. It actually cuts deep inside of here. This is like a ridge cutting inside. This was first seen in the C28 SL, and they've applied that to this wheel to increase the weight savings of the hub that they could do without reducing the strength of it. Another change is in between the spokes here, right at the rim edge. You'll see that they've been able to remove a lot more material. So they've cut out a ton more here, and also have a little accent here where it's a little bit wavy, and they don't have any writing on the inside between the spokes here anymore. This change, they're trying to differentiate the OG wheel versus the new wheel. If you look right here, that's going to be the first indication that you're looking at the new C28N-PLUS. It's this little wave here and this little nice accent here. That's something that they've applied only to this wheel. Of course, we have some other features that have been incorporated from the C28's history. You see here, this is the VOLK Racing. This is engraving. This is taken from the C28 RT that was released in around 2014. That's to aid in their ongoing battle of counterfeit wheels. So when you pull up and you have that engraved in there, you know you'll get the respect you deserve because everyone will know that's a legit VOLK Racing C28N-PLUS versus, you know, the respect you normally get at home, especially if you have a spouse or kids. You know, nobody's respecting you really at home. But when you pull up in the parking lot with these guys, everyone can see the insignias, they're going to be respecting you. Along with this AMT cutting, they've cut some new things on the edge of the lip. So because of the new lip redesign, they're able to do this flat face just right inside of here. And here you see raised edges here now, forge is here, made in Japan, and this is VIA JWL certification. So of course, this wheel still undergoing JWL VIA certification, Japanese standard, but the wheel also goes through raised stringent JWL +2 spec, which is a way higher rating, way higher strength test than the standard one they normally do to really show off the new improvements of this wheel. Putting the wheel on side, you can see the new changes that they've done to bring this wheel into the modern world. Like I said, the front lip redesign has made this flange super thick, really grippy. Back one as well, very thick, is to give the tire really good contact with the rim and also communicate up to the driver how much is flexing against here. The less flex and deflection you can have, of course, that puts more stress on the wheel because now the tire can't move as much and now it's based on the wheel strength that's affecting it. But because of a new design, they can take that risk. And also, this is so that if there's any impact or any riding, any curbing, you're less likely to have a tire blowout or a tire start losing air. Here it is also the knurling that they've been doing a lot of their wheels. That's been added as well to further increase that grip of the tire on the rim. And I want to tell you something that this has done differently that you might not notice is the profile of the wheel is totally changed. So they've rolled it even thinner from what I heard and more out so that you can get even bigger brake clearance on this. So C28, one of the priorities, big brake clearance. And this new profile really allows you to have that big rotor on there and a big caliper. On the back here, there is a big change versus the old CE. So you can see here, this is a totally enclosed hub now. They have these relief holes here just for you to run spacers and just so that you can save some weight. But this is where the relief holes would have been before. This is machined out a lot more so you can steal a lot of weight savings. You'll see the old C28 when they have that weight relief cut here, they actually cut it out of the hub so it's kind of open. The new wheel, it's been enclosed now, so no contaminants, dust, any dirt can get trapped in there between the wheel and the hub. Second thing is because those relief holes are gone now, it increased the strength of the wheel a lot after they made this flattened out and tightened this up. Because I told you that the hub is a main area they're trying to reinforce the structure of, and those relief holes were not helping with that. So now the hub is really complete. You get a really good mount to the hub. And also in the modern day with generation from the brake rotor, the more contact you have on the hub with the wheel, and your wheel now acts as a heat sink that helps to increase the thermal transfer off the brake rotor, which is also a little bit more of a better braking performance. The back of the spokes, totally flat because they had to keep the whole dexterity of spoke strength so they couldn't cut anything out of it. Of course, we have our insignia stickers. So here you'll see this is your raised sticker with your specs. This one's a 2024, February 5th made, 18 by 9.5 plus 38, C28N-PLUS. And this is SZ, shining bronze. Here we have our JWL VIA certificate, so certified past that. And this is what I was talking about, the JWL plus R spec 2 raised. This is the strength rating that they've done, and this is many steps above the standard JWL and VIA process. All right, next thing up, we're gonna weigh all these guys off, and I have them all in different finishes. So let's get these guys on the scale. All right, so I got these guys on a hard surface. And first thing we got here is 18 by 9.5 plus 38. In shining bronze. This guy's 19.4 pounds. And now we have the Raise option 2 color, racing green, gloss finish. 18.8 pounds. This one's even lighter. That's very surprising because I thought this guy was gonna be the heavier one of the three. But turns out this guy is the lightest one. I think it's because probably it's a uniform color. Whereas a shining bronze need a smoke over top, and the blast bronze be a matte finish. They might have to put a bit more on for durability, but those are just my guesses. But overall, they're around 19 pounds even for all three. So 19 pounds for a modern wheel, an 18 by 9.5, that's really, really good. Extreme weight savings for the strength that the new wheels can do. Next one up, Blast Bronze, the matte finish. But actually this guy is 18 by 9.5 plus 38, and this one is 5 by 120. So let's see how this compares. So this one is 19.2 pounds. This one's a little bit heavier than the other wheels, but I think it's because this one's 5 by 120, so the holes are moved out further, so less material was cut out of it. I'm gonna measure this old one for fun, but you gotta remember this one's an 18 by 8.5. This is 16 pounds, 18 by 8.5 plus 30 bronze almite. So this one is lighter by a lot, but you gotta remember it's half an inch skinnier, cut out of it. All right, so that concludes my in-depth review of the CE28N-PLUS, the reimagining of the icon, the OG CE28N. Quarter year anniversary to CE28N, been all over the world, many cars, made a huge impact on the aftermarket wheel industry. And now we have the new big boss in town, CE28N-PLUS, all new colors, all new redesign, fully made for the modern world. So if you guys enjoyed that video, make sure you guys hit subscribe, comment below, let me know what you think about the CE28N-PLUS. I know I've been hearing a lot of people, they kind of like the OG look, but I'm telling you the improvements of the N-PLUS really gonna carry us out to the next world of modern vehicle evolution, okay? Thanks for joining me, guys. We'll catch you guys next time.